So I was a comptroller, financial analyst.
Okay.
I started in, I guess you could say your basic admin environment. I was
Mhm.
in the office. That was the regular pace for us. And I quickly realized that was not my pace. So I would do a lot of extracurriculars like color guard and volunteering and really anything that I could be actively engaging and also expanding. I can do well in any environment, but if it gets stagnant and I'm not having that space for growth, then I find I get a little bored and burnt out. So I remember just always raising my hand, like anything that was going on, I was like, I'll do it, I'll take it. And I really enjoyed that because I think one of the main reasons why I joined was to give back and be able to serve others. So that was a early on in my career. Was first duty station was Hawaii, and I was there for a few years. I picked up every rank meritoriously up to E5. So I understood the system very well, and I was the type of person, like I said, that just naturally wanted to do extracurriculars, and a lot of my peers did not do that naturally. So it set me apart, and therefore I got promoted pretty quickly in a lot of cases. And from there, I did internal security, um, which is referred to as Marine security guards. So Marines are the only branch of service that guards embassies around the world, U.S. embassies.
Oh,
So I went into that training in Quantico, and it is quite a prestigious and intense training. The retention rate is maybe like I want to say 45, maybe even 35% or something like this. So a lot of people don't make it through this training. And my first post was the US Embassy in Banjul, the Gambia. And I was there for a year. Posts typically are 12 months for Marine security guards. And yeah, that was the start of the change of my life. Like that, I think getting that duty station is what really shifted so many things for me because I got to, for one, live in Africa, which I probably never even thought of. And it opened me up to so many things because the first thing that really resonated with me was the peace that I felt in myself when I was there, and then the peace that I witnessed in the local people and how they didn't have anything, but they were so happy. They didn't need anything. And it's like witnessing that and seeing what I came from in the Western world of like consumption and overindulgence, and that huge contrast just appealed to me so much. So from there, I moved on to my next duty station or post, which was the US consulate in Munich, Germany. And that was also a very fun experience, different. I loved the architecture. It was my first winter after like 4 years of living by the beach. So that hit pretty hard because, winter in Europe is often very gray and cloudy. So that was a
mhm.
huge transition and shift, but I made the best of it. And I actually lost my grandfather around that time too. So I ultimately transitioned back to the US. I was in Quantico for some time, and then I finished my time in service in New Orleans. That was my last duty station before I got out. And I was in for six years. So yeah, that was beautiful. And it was not long before I moved back to the Gambia as a civilian. And that's how much I loved it. So I moved back in late 2019, just before the pandemic, like just months before the pandemic. And yeah, I was there for a few years and I just loved it. I went into entrepreneurship. I quickly was exceeding in many different areas. I was just kind of opening myself up to what was possible in terms of um, I guess building a life for myself that didn't require me to work for anyone. I think that was after having been in the Marines, I was like, I don't know if I want to be in that position again. So
Mhm.
I took very quickly and very well to entrepreneurship. And yeah, from there, I went on a retreat in Zanzibar. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Zanzibar. It's an island just off the coast of Tanzania.
I've heard of it. Heard of it.
Yes. So I was invited to a retreat there September 2021. And that was the next phase of my life that really shifted timelines for me because I was there for about 2 weeks and it was deeply transformative, very magical, very healing. And by January of the following year, 2022, I booked my flight, my one way to Zanzibar. I dropped my businesses, my boyfriend, my balcony view, everything in Gambia, and I just went. And that was big shift. But that was coupled with many things. The biggest being I hit this point where I was making all this money and I was flourishing and I had anything I wanted and it was like limitless at this place that we call the top. And I was like, this is not great. Like, I don't feel very fulfilled here. I'm having all the material things that I want, but there's something missing within me that is not being nourished, is what it felt like. And then also the relationship had had its bumps and waves and all things. So yeah, once I had that like awakening and I realized this isn't the life I want to live. I witnessed many entrepreneurs in Gambia who were burnt out, exhausted, and they were just kind of they had health issues because they weren't prioritizing themselves. Instead, they were chasing the top of the ladder and the dream and the things. So I think that was probably a big like um, perspective shift as well as seeing like if I'm just entering this space and I am at the age that I'm at, which was I started my first business when I was 24, and I'm
Wow.
seeing people who are decades down the line. It's like I think anyone who has some sense of introspection and um, self-awareness can say, is that what I want for my future? Is my health worth anything monetary? And it wasn't. And I was having like at that time I was having some like due to the relationship issues I was having like panic attacks and I was going through it like my body was speaking to me in a different way and telling me like we can't, this is not sustainable. So I was just like, all right, I dropped everything. I literally gave away like $20,000 worth of stuff and I left with like a suitcase, a yoga mat, and my cat. And we moved to East Africa.
Your cat, okay, I have to interrupt. How did you get the cat that far? How'd you travel with them?
Right? I couldn't leave her behind. Her name was Zora.
Oh,
Yeah, she came with me. I went to the vet before to get all her documentation so she could travel. Turkish Airlines was totally fine with me bringing her,
oh,
and the vet gave me like the medicine to kind of like calm them, sedate them a little bit. So that helped, and she was really chill on the plane. She was right in my lap. The airline, like the flight attendants loved her. They were like petting her and yeah, it was a great trip. And in hindsight, she was my anchor through it all because when I moved to Zanzibar, I went to sit still, to be silent and to heal so much of what I feel like I masked, especially being in the military. I came from a background where I was like very tough on the outside, and my exterior was like, I grew up with boys, so I had to like always be very like, so, and then simultaneously going into the Marines surrounded by a lot of boys again. Um, you just build that shell, and that was my protective layer. And I went, I feel like, to Zanzibar to heal and to let go of a lot of things I had been carrying with me. And I just remember so many days on my yoga mat, just like sobbing. And Zora was always right there next to me, just like, yeah, she knew. Even before the tears would flow, she would be right there on the mat, like, yeah, it's coming. I'm here for you.
And as we're talking, my chubby cat Merlin, 15 and a half pounds. I got two black cats. He
Oh,
always when I'm talking, he's all sprawled out, and I'm definitely a cat lady. Yes, they're my babies, and animals are very grounding.
mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
was going to in the beginning of this call, we hopped on. I was like, let's just do like an impromptu like chat and then go record it. And then as you just kept on talking, I was like, let's just keep it all going and no formalities, because first of all, I don't want you repeating yourself again, because it's so coming from the heart and it's so flowing so
Mm,
quickly, and
mm.
just keep it all and not chop it up. So let me pause though. Let me at least read your bio, which she's
Yeah.
already you've already eloquently stated, but I just want to read it out for the formality. Uh, is it Eliza de la Paz? Is that right?
Eliza de la Paz.
All right.
Yes.
My Northeast phonetics is not always the greatest. Is a versatile entrepreneurial, self-love advocate, life coach, and yoga teacher. Born in Phoenix, Arizona, and raised in a quaint town outside of Houston, Texas, she joined the U.S. Marines in 2013. After serving her country for 6 years, Eliza embarked on an entrepreneurial journey in West Africa. She has since returned to the U.S. to pursue a degree in neuroscience. Her passion to help others on their healing journey is being channeled into her latest project, Relax with Eliza. Sound relaxed already. uh, where she provides mindfulness tools for transcending limiting beliefs and reconnecting with one's innate authenticity. Entrepreneurial. I think I have a copy issue. Authentic
I
entrepreneur.
think it ended after innate authenticity. I think that might have been the end of it. Maybe it
Okay,
copied twice.
I apologize.
No, it's
Self-love
okay.
advocate, life coach, and yoga teacher. So I think I had a problem with copy. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to butcher that.
No, no, that was fine. Yeah.
But I just wanted to just read that, and I appreciate you sharing so from the heart. And I was looking at your website. It's so professionally done, but it's so in a place of like authenticity. I was thinking when I was looking at your website, what was speaking to me, and I came up with 3 C's: confident,
Mm.
compassion, and clarity.
Ooh.
Because you come off very,
Thank you.
people can come off confident, but they can come off as arrogant and full of themselves. But it sounds like you give off this energy of being very confident in where you're at and in your journey, but also with the way it's a feminine confidence when I look at you,
Mm.
and which is radiating compassion and like really clarity. And so I want to recognize that. And you've had quite a journey. You were talking about what really matters and getting rid of the stuff. And I think that is really, I said this with the other call, and I think you watched it. I see these mirrors back to me, everybody that I interview with, and I'm moving from Destin, Florida to Melbourne, and I've been
Mm.
wanting to manifest simplicity, less complications, less long,
Mm.
less spending so much time doing stuff, because doing is very masculine energy, and getting into a place of being, and being in this flow. And I somehow manifested a rental property right off the beach in Melbourne, but it has no dishwasher. It has no washer and dryer. And I'm like, okay, I didn't manifest simplicity. And I'm getting it. And I want very little furniture. I want it simple. I want it uncomplicated. I want to go bike to the grocery store. So I understand that I'm not having the experience of being in Africa, but it's too much stuff. And I have been getting rid of a lot of stuff and getting to the point where I want people to not buy me gifts anymore, buy more of the experiences of life.
Mm.
So I was definitely seeing that. And I also had that experience, you know, I think a lot of it came from going to India with
Mm.
my backpack, you know, and traveling and seeing other people lived, you know, much more simplistic,
Mm.
like you said, didn't have a lot, but the people in India are very humble, very nice. Um, I had a lady that dressed me up. I bought a sari. She dressed me up, taught me how to do it. My Airbnb host taught me how to put all this fabric on me. And she asked me, you know, do you have jewelry? And I said, no, I didn't bring any. And she's like, you must wear jewelry with a sari. And she gave me her pearls to wear, her necklace and her bracelets. I mean, who does that? You know, just somebody, I was just one of her guests. And that's just how humble some of those people are. I think you froze. Are you still there? Probably have signal issues. Are you still there, Eliza? Let's see. Let me pause the recording here for a second. Are you still there?
I'm not sure if you could hear me this whole time. I'm kind of like
What's that?
randomly chatting to you. Yeah, I'm not sure if you could hear. I was saying that it's possible that the internet here is not the best.
Oh, so in Florida we got storms that are going through.
Mm.
The lighting in here is not the greatest because it's all cloudy right now, so it might be a combination of both. But you know that this is real stuff, you know, internet connections and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't even know what you heard or what you didn't. I was talking about the sorry experience.
Yes, I heard that. That's beautiful. I had a similar experience actually. Here
It's
it was in
something about
America.
it's just something about just, you know, when you live that simplistic lifestyle and the humility and like
Mm.
I can't imagine Airbnb hosts being like that in the United States. And not saying US is they're not nice, people aren't wearing that nice here. I'm just saying giving pearls for a stranger to wear so they could feel
Mhm.
complete and that they could feel pretty and all that.
Yeah.
Which was it was very genuine. And like when I came back from India, I really it really helped clean my lens. Like the beginning, I said how it was
Mm.
healthy for my nervous system. It really cleaned up
Mm.
what really matters in my life. And like you were saying on your entrepreneurial journey, you know, what really matters. Um,
Mm.
yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah. I'm so fascinated about your journey of the time in the Marines. So, and then where you're at now. So you got your yoga certification, right? Oh, you froze again. We might have to do a two-part. So for those that are listening, this is real world stuff. This, are you back?
Yeah, we're back.
Oh my gosh. Um, I was asking, what kind of yoga certification did you get?
So I got a vinyasa yoga certification with a company in Austin, Texas called My Vinyasa Practice. And I did actually that one online as I was
It could be my signal too. So anyways, vinyasa flow. This was outside of the military or when you got out of the military, right?
correct. Yeah.
Um, I'm not a yoga teacher at all, but I have took a lot of yoga. When I was with the field artillery, I would teach some of the yoga. I think you froze.
Mm.
Yeah, I think you froze. And it was really interesting seeing some of the guys, how tight they were and the emotional resistance that I saw. So I'm really happy, you know, hearing you use taking yoga into your practice and into your life. Do you work with veterans at all? Are you still there? Hmm. Hmm. Let me pause this.